Hi, I'm Dan Major for Life the Basic Manual, and in this segment we're going to talk about the difference between pain and suffering and how, when you're experiencing pain, there are a variety of things you can do to change that experience and reduce the level of your pain. Pain and suffering are often related, they frequently go together, but in reality, pain is inevitable, yet suffering is optional. Pain is simply part of being human. There are certain experiences in life which are simply and unavoidably painful. They generate physical pain and/or emotional pain. Sadness, frustration, anger, guilt, shame, anxiety, fear, and so forth. Pain is the actual sensations that we feel, whereas suffering is the interpretation that we give to our pain. So if we experience pain, say in our back or in our leg or headache, there are so many different ways that we can interpret that and respond to it. If my thinking is catastrophic along the lines of how bad it is and how much it hurts and how I just don't want to have to endure it, I shouldn't have to endure it, that physical pain is going to create emotional pain related to increased frustration, upset, anger, anxiety, and so forth. Those challenging, uncomfortable emotions only feed the physical pain and make it much worse. So when I experience pain, if I can modify my thinking, being aware of it, and very consciously turn it in different directions along the lines of, yes, I'm experiencing pain, but it's okay. It's not anything that I can handle. It's not, in fact, horrible. And I know it's not going to last forever. It's going to end, and I can begin to accept it. And when that happens, I create much less stress for myself. I effectively turn down the volume of uncomfortable emotions and the volume of the pain sensations themselves, bringing myself back into balance. Another way in which suffering can be reduced, minimized, if not eliminated when we experience pain, is through certain physical interventions. Sometimes if I'm sitting down, I may need to stand up and walk around a little bit. If I'm standing up, I may need to sit down. It may be helpful and healthy, in fact, to lay down for a period of time, but to change posture and to change positions is an important ingredient in shifting our experience of pain. And when we shift our experience of pain, how we experience the pain itself also changes, often for the better. Things like utilizing heating pads and ice packs are also really important strategies for shifting our experience of pain and turning down its volume. Ice packs, for example, provide a distracting physical sensation, while at the same time they provide the experience of reducing inflammation, of reducing swelling, and they amplify sensations of relief as part of that process. Heating pads, on the other hand, facilitate blood and oxygen circulation. They, when we're stiff, when we're sore, going on a heating pad, those parts of our body that are hurting will help to create additional circulation, additional blood flow in that area, bringing oxygen to the injured or hurting part of the body, which can also provide a very healing and relaxing experience. And quite often, it's useful to alternate heating pads and ice packs. For example, if you experience an injury of some sort, typically part of the problematic process is going to be swelling or inflammation. You hurt your knee or your ankle or your back, say. And so going on the ice pack to begin with can help to make it feel better immediately, but importantly, it also helps to bring down the swelling and the inflammation. After that, it can be very helpful after a pause to go on the heating pad, which will facilitate additional blood flow and circulation to the injured area. And alternating back and forth between ice and heat can be an incredibly helpful part of that process. Lastly, as it relates to difficult thoughts and uncomfortable, painful emotions, when we experience them, we tend to believe that they will last forever because they are so convincing, they are so strong, they take up so much of our awareness. But if we can bring the mindfulness technique of recognizing them for what they are, accepting them with the realization that, like all other experiences, all other sensations, they are temporary, it will help us to get through them rather than have to try to avoid, numb, or escape them. Just like house guests that will come over and sometimes stay longer than we would like, making us wonder, oh my goodness, are they ever going to leave? All challenging thoughts and difficult, uncomfortable, painful feelings eventually leave. All of these approaches can be a helpful and important part of your pain recovery process.